I should have been home by now. That's what I kept thinking as Ezekiel and I bailed water with our bare hands. The waves were walls, 10, 15 feet, slamming us from every side. But we had turned the boat around. We were heading back. I could actually see the mountains on the horizon, close enough that I started thinking about the party I'd promised to be at that evening. Then the engine died. 1 second it was roaring, the next, nothing. Just the wind and the water and Ezekiel staring at me with eyes I didn't want to look at. We had no paddles, no anchor. A friend had borrowed it before we left and never returned it. With nothing to hold us in place, the storm grabbed the boat like it weighed nothing and started dragging us backward. I got on the radio and screamed our position to our boss. He said he was coming. Then the battery cut out, and I watched those mountains on the horizon begin to shrink, slowly at first, then faster. Then they were just gone. The search party looked for us for 5 days before giving up. I don't blame them. I would have given up too. Day 5. By the 5th day, the storm had taken everything with it. Our food, our gear, almost all of our supplies swept overboard in the chaos of those first nights. What little we'd had left was gone. My stomach had moved past hunger into something else, a hollow ache that made it hard to think straight. I stared at the water for a long time. I'm a fisherman. If there's one thing I know, it's that there's always something alive beneath you. So I stuck my arm in, went completely still, and waited. A fish brushed my fingers. I grabbed it. Small, barely a handful, but I ripped into it with my teeth, and it was the best thing I'd tasted in my life. I looked at Ezekiel. He looked at the fish. He ate. Then a seabird landed on the edge of the boat to rest, completely unbothered, preening its wings like we weren't even there. I stared at it the way a starving man stares at a meal. I didn't move. I barely breathed. Then I swung my arm up fast and grabbed it by the legs. Ezekiel's jaw dropped. I wrung its neck, opened it up, and drank the blood straight from the body. He looked at me like I had completely lost my mind. He was thirsty enough that he did it too. For water, we were in serious trouble. The sun out there is relentless, nowhere to hide on a flat, open boat. Your throat closes up, your lips split. During the dry stretches, we drank our own urine, collected it in an empty bottle. We drank turtle blood when we caught them. When rain finally came, we held our mouths open and caught every drop we could in our hands, in the hull, in anything that could hold water. We drank until our stomachs hurt. Day 35. The silence does something to you. Weeks of the same ocean, the same sky, the same nothing in every direction. No voices, no news. Ezekiel was deteriorating faster than I was. I could see it in his face, in the way he'd go quiet for hours and stare at the water like it was showing him something I couldn't see. Then one afternoon he turned to me and asked me to go to the store and get food. Not like a joke, with completely calm, serious eyes. We're somewhere in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, no land, no engine, no radio, and he looked at me and asked if I could go pick something up. I walked to the far end of the boat, waited a few minutes, walked back. "Store's closed today," I told him. "We'll try again tomorrow." He nodded. He settled down. I did it again the next day, and the day after that. I don't know how many times. It worked every time, and I never once let myself think too hard about what it meant that it worked, or what it said about the state we were both in. Day 70. We'd been counting the moon cycles and figured it was around Christmas Eve, so we decided to celebrate, or at least try. I caught 2 birds, the biggest ones I could find, and we ate like we were sitting at an actual table somewhere. It was the best evening we'd had in months. Then Ezekiel made a sound I'd never heard come out of a person before. I turned, and he was on his knees, foam at the corners of his mouth, shaking. I grabbed what was left of his bird and dug through the meat until I found it. A small yellow snake, half digested inside the bird's stomach. The venom had passed straight through into the flesh. He survived the night, but something in him didn't survive with him. After that, he stopped wanting to eat. He stopped wanting much of anything. Day 90. Every day I sat next to him and talked him into eating. Just one bite. Come on, just one more. Some days it worked. Most days it didn't. He had made a decision somewhere deep inside himself that we were never getting out of this. And once a person decides that, their body starts to follow. I watched him get lighter and quieter every day, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. One night we made a pact. If only one of us made it, that person would visit the other's family and tell them what happened. Tell them how their son had died. We shook on it in the dark, with the ocean moving quietly around us. Day 120. I woke up one morning and called his name. He didn't answer. I shook him. Nothing. He was gone. I kept talking to him for days afterward. I'd ask him a question and wait for the answer. Tell him about the fish I caught that morning. I know how that sounds. Out there, it felt completely natural. Eventually, the decay made it impossible to pretend anymore. I washed his body as carefully as I could. Then I lowered him into the water. And then there was nobody left. Day 200. I was lying on my back at the bottom of the boat, half asleep in the heat, when something made me sit up. A shape on the horizon. Dark. Getting bigger. It was a ship. I don't think I even made a decision. I just moved. I was on my feet, screaming before I even knew I was standing. I waved both arms above my head. I screamed until my voice cracked. I jumped up and down on the hull. The ship was coming closer, and I was losing my mind with excitement. This was it. This was the moment. After everything, someone was finally going to see me. People appeared at the railing, and one of them raised an arm and waved back. They saw me. I know they saw me. The ship kept going. I stood there and watched it until it disappeared. Then I sat down on the floor of the boat and didn't move for a long time. I just sat there with the ocean moving quietly around me and the silence pressing in from every direction. That was the closest I came to giving up. Day 438. I was lying at the bottom of the boat, barely moving, when I noticed coconuts bobbing in the water around me. I sat up. Seabirds overhead, more than I'd seen in weeks, all flying the same direction. On the horizon was a shape that didn't move the way water moves. I didn't trust it at first. I'd had moments before where I thought I saw something, and it was nothing. Clouds, tricks of light, my mind doing what minds do out there. But this shape didn't dissolve. It got bigger, darker, more solid. When the water was shallow enough, I didn't wait for the boat to reach the shore. I went over the side and swam. My legs barely worked. I hit sand and crawled up onto the beach and just stopped, face down. I didn't care about anything in that moment. I was on land, solid land, and I let go of everything and lay there. When I came to, I crawled up a hill that felt like a mountain, and from the top I spotted a red shirt drying on a clothesline. I dragged myself to the door and knocked. A couple answered. We had no language in common. They looked at me, beard down to my chest, barely any clothes, shaking, and they brought me inside and fed me. They sent word to the nearest settlement. I had washed up on the Aben Atoll in the Marshall Islands. Had I drifted past it, the next land was thousands of kilometers away. I had been at sea for 438 days.